So you guys remember a few weeks ago, there are two Russians who prank called the British defense minister. Well, guess who they prank called now? Man, I couldn't believe this at first. It's George Bush. George Bush, George W.Bush. And they have multiple parts of this. So I'm just going to start with the first one, and let's see what happens, okay?
Ravana Lectors.
There we go. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, look who's there, Mr. President.
Oh, hello, Mr. President. Glad to see you. Glad to hear you. How are you there?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are as well.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time for me. I'm very grateful to you because you are very, very wise person. Former president of Ukraine, Yushchenko, told me a lot about you, how you helped our country. Yeah, you didn't want to take Russia into NATO, did you?
No, I wanted them on the fringe of NATO. I wanted Ukraine into NATO.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean,
I thought for a while Russia would be more cooperative. And then Putin changed dramatically. I think what he wanted to do was sit on the fringe of NATO to make sure NATO was not offensive, but defensive.
Mm-hmm. No, but you always wanted to take Ukraine into NATO, not Russia, but Ukraine, always, as I remember.
That's right. See, I felt Ukraine needed to be in the EU and in NATO.
No, you know that the narrative. Then in the early 90s, Secretary of State Baker promised Gorbachev not to expand NATO. But this would be completely wrong, especially with the threats that Russia poses now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Listen, times change. Baker was, he was a Secretary of State for my dad, which was years ago. And so, and the United States must be flexible, adjusting to the times. And that's why you're finding such strong support for your country now.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter what Baker really promised Gorbachev in past. We have to see what is going on now.
That's right.
Aha. That's how it is, huh? So that's how it is. I guess you really can't trust American promises, can you? Times changed. Really? Okay. Times changed. I'm going to use that excuse when I sign up for my phone service provider. Sorry, man, I'm not going to pay you anymore. Just times changed, you know. Do whatever you like. Times changed. Sorry, it was back then. That was back then. I think my cat is trying to break in, or it's the Mossad. I don't know. It's one of them. Anyway, let me play the next clip. Let's look at the next clip. These guys are hilarious. I swear to God, I couldn't believe this at first. I was like, no, this has to be like some deep fake or some, I don't know, like, and then I remembered, like, no, they actually prank called the British defense minister. I mean, my goodness. So here's the second one. Let's take a look. You ready? It's funny, right? You know, I would like Bush if he was just a comedian and not a war criminal, mass murderer. He looks like he would be suitable for that. But the guy who's doing the prank call sounds a bit like Borat, you know? But you promised. All right, let's go, guys. Let's go.
Fact, now it's a war not only of Ukraine, it's a war of West world against Russians.
Yeah.
Of course, Russia was offended that NATO began to expand. That's a problem for them. That's why they started. I'm talking about determination of DPR and LPR at regions of occupied regions by Russia on east side. So Putin tries to show that there's the same example like with Kosovo. You remember then in 2007 you recognized Kosovo as an independent country, and he used the same methodic.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if you prevail, or when you prevail, a lot of these other issues go off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Your mission is to destroy as many Russian troops as you can. And the question is, will you continue to receive the help you need? And I certainly hope so. And it's very important for the United States to continue in the lead of providing you the support you need. You've got good, it seems to me, you've got good communications with the administration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your Secretary of Defense and people like that are continually informing our military of what's needed. And our military is very supportive of what you're doing, President.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you support us with javelins and many other missiles, so it's great. But last time the US has sent us Angelina Jolie. It's a kind of joke. Yeah.
That is not bad. Did you hear what he said? What Bush said? You know, your mission is to destroy as many Russian troops as possible. Sounds like a proxy war to me. I mean, come on, man. It's funny how he brings up Kosovo, because a lot of the things that Russia's doing now, you can draw equivalences more or less, you know, generally speaking, with things that you know, the West and NATO have done, right? Because when they bombed Libya, for example, you know, they say it was an intervention, right? And now Turkey, which is a NATO member, wants to go into Syria. Oh, it's an incursion. When they invaded Iraq, they say it's a liberation. And so, you know, Russia said it's a military, it's a special operation. And they're going, no, it's an invasion. Well, hold on a second. When you did Libya and you bombed Syria and you invaded Iraq, you didn't call it a military. You didn't call it an invasion. You called it liberation, right? So now you're suddenly picky about words. And again, the other thing is what he mentioned with Kosovo, right? Again, let me play that part again to you. It's very important.
To show that there's the same example like with Kosovo started. I'm talking about determination of DPR and.
So when he says DPR, he means the two breakaway states that Russia recognized, and Syria, I think. You know, Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk. So let's take a look again at this because it's important.
Yeah.
Of course, Russia was offended that NATO began to expand. That's a problem for them. That's why they started. I'm talking about determination of DPR and LPR at regions of occupied regions by Russia on east side. So Putin tries to show that there's the same example like with Kosovo. You remember then in 2007 you recognized Kosovo as an independent country, and he used the same methodic.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if you prevail, or when you prevail, a lot of these other issues go off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Your mission is to destroy as many Russian troops as you can.
Well, he's really funny. He's a real joker. Let's go to the next clip. I can't believe this was real. I swear, part of me doesn't want to believe it because it sounds so outrageous, and the fact that they actually did this, I wouldn't. Wow.
You know, Mr. President, I think that I don't know how to turn Russians against Putin. I know that you have many NGOs. Many NGOs have done a great job to arrange orange revolutions in post-Soviet countries for so many years. So they helped a lot. So how we can work in Russia now to make people to start understand things, how to change the system inside Russia with NGOs.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. The information war is very important, and we've got experts on our staff, and obviously they're having to wire around Russian blackouts.
All right, I don't know why it cuts off there, but he said information war is important. Yeah. Let me be very clear, guys. Every country in the world does disinformation. You could potentially categorize that under counterintelligence, right? So my point is that the Americans, everything they accuse Russia of doing, everything the British accuse Russia of doing, they're doing as well, and 10 times better, to be honest. Because if Russia was really winning the information war, people would be, hanging Russian flags instead and supporting Russia. But they don't. The majority of the people in the West support Ukraine. With that said, the West is not the whole world. This is sort of an arrogant mentality, right? Like, oh, everybody supports Ukraine. What do you mean everybody? Everybody in the West, not everybody in the world. Actually, the majority of most of the world, they're either neutral or in support of maintaining ties with Russia. So it doesn't mean they agree with the war. It just means that they don't want to sabotage ties with Russia. And just going back to the information war, again, everybody runs this. Everybody does this, and that shouldn't surprise you one bit.
The story with Colin Powell's test tube at the UN, he uses it like a propaganda now. Or it was big plan.
Oh my God. Did you guys hear that? Let me start again.
The story with Colin Powell's test tube at the UN, he uses it like a propaganda now. Or it was big plan to bring the democracy to Iraq.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you're living in the past too much, brother.
Because I love history. Because I love to get good advice, not to make mistakes in present.
Oh my God. Honestly, guys, I'm not sure, but I think this is the first time I've seen Bush confronted with this lie. Again, for those of you who don't know, I remember when I was very young, when the Iraq War was starting, George Bush and his administration were making up all these lies about Iraq. They said Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Iraq is giving those weapons of mass destruction to Al-Qaeda. Iraq is working with Al-Qaeda. Again, it's complete bullshit because Saddam Hussein is a Ba'athist. He's running a secular regime, and you're telling me this secularist is working with religious extremists? It makes zero sense. Really, zero sense. There was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq, none in Syria. They completely made this up. And what Colin Powell did, Colin Powell was the Secretary of State. He famously went to the United Nations and made a presentation to the Security Council that he has proof Iraq has these weapons of mass destruction. And this photo, is really. You could put this on the front page of history books, honestly, because it's such a defining moment. And I think that tube had washing powder in it or something. It's ridiculous. It's not a toxin or a biological agent or a chemical agent. It's just a fucking powder. And he's holding it up there as proof. You know what other proof he brought? You cannot make this up, man. He brought an entire PowerPoint presentation, right? And it has these cartoon trucks. And they use this as proof. Look at this. They started a war over this. This was his proof. What the hell is this? You got some, intern graphic designer to just make a bunch of trucks. That's not proof. God, it was horrible, man. And this, my goodness, look at this. They're not even trying. I could draw that. What is this? Mobile production facilities for biological agents. Oh yeah, that's wow, I totally believe that. So, this is how ridiculous their claims were. and they lied. There were no weapons of mass destruction, as we all know. And Bush's response: "You're living too much in the past, you motherfucker." This guy killed 1 million Iraqis and left millions more as refugees. People think about wars in terms of injuries and killed. Like that's how they can't count the casualties, but they don't count the mental, the mental scars that people carry with them. I never see that. No one talks about that, and I'm sure you have many people in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya, in Somalia who have mental illness because or trauma because of American wars, because of NATO wars. And I mean, I've heard stories in Iraq. My goodness, every time with Iraq, I think I've seen the worst, and then I see something even worse. It's like a rabbit hole. I'm not joking. It's a rabbit hole of atrocities. You start going down and looking. My God, I my heart bleeds for the Iraqi people. My heart aches for them. My heart bleeds for what happened to their country. Ya haram, ya haram, ya haram. And this bastard says you're living too much in the past. Yeah, very easy for you to say. A lot of people are still affected by what you did. And do you guys remember that photo from Abu Ghraib? There was a scandal about torture in Abu Ghraib, and the most famous picture from that prisoner abuse is this one. Look at this. This is how the Americans were torturing Iraqis in Abu Ghraib prison. This is the most famous picture. And this guy in the under the hood, right here in this photo, you can see they're basically electrocuting him and making him stand on a box, and horrible. And he gave an interview, which I saw, I think, a year ago. Again, made me cry. And he said he cannot shower anymore. They waterboarded him so much that he's afraid of water now, and he cannot shower.
I wanted to apologize for your boy, Saakashvili, Michael. I had to quick him out. I got tired of him. He was my advisor in Ukraine. He was constantly using drugs in our administration and wanted a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. Look, he's a rambunctious boy at heart. I agree. I mean, we had a problem with him in Georgia, and Putin later trapped, and he fell into it, and he kind of panicked during that period of time. You should have asked me whether or not he should have been inside your government. I would have given you advice, but I hadn't talked to Saakashvili since 2008.
But he also failed at joining to NATO. That is his big fault.
Yeah. Well, if Saakashvili was true to his roots, he'd still be in Georgia. Not running around Ukraine and other places. I mean, that frustrated me. He got elected. He did a good job for a while. There was pushback to his administration. And I would thought he would have stayed and fought for Georgian democracy. But instead, he immediately goes to Ukraine.
Bad boy.
Is he still in Ukraine? Let me ask you this. Is he still in Ukraine?
Yes, he has a citizenship. I gave him it back. But it's like an anecdote, like a funny story.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Does he have a uniform on, and is he fighting the Russians? Is he fighting the Russians? You gave him citizenship. He ought to be fighting the Russians.
Yeah. We were able to... I also would like to thank you. We were able to preserve your legacy in Ukraine. For example, those bio laboratories that United States has donated on the territory of our country. It's a program of Pentagon. You remember? It's on the post-Soviet territory that Pentagon has donated many bio laboratories. And we managed to evacuate them to a safe place now. So the Russians did not get anything from that laboratories.
Good. Yeah, you're smart.
I don't know what that was, if why they cut the clip off here, if he admits to the biolabs or whatever it was. But make of his response what you will. I'm just going through them because I actually haven't seen all of these, so I thought we could watch them together. So there's I don't think we'll watch this one because it's 12 minutes, but there's one last one, 3 minutes. Let's see what he says.
Yesterday, I met with our heroes of Ukraine. They were fighting on the information front, and then they were recruited into Ukrainian army. They are pilots like you, and they hit many Russian planes. I tried to award them, but they said no. They said, let us please talk to the President Bush. I told that I will have conversation with you. And they say, we are his fans, what he really did in his presidency. And they are my great friends. Maybe they will lead Ukrainian future, such a young guys, who is really fighting for democracy. They dreamed of talking to you. And yeah, if you don't mind, I will put them on the line, and they will talk to you many good things if you don't really mind. And you?
I don't mind.
Okay, let me connect them. If you will say to my friends, Slava, Vovan, and Lexus, tell please. Slava, Vovan, and Lexus, it's our heroes. Slava, Vovan, and Lexus.
Okay, Slava, Vovan, and Lexus. Bring them on.
I will put them on the line. Vovan and Lexus. Just a moment, please. I will put them.
Okay.
Okay, just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So my understanding, I mean, Slavan and Lexus, these are the guys doing the prank call. It's them.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hi, dudes. How we doing?
We are fighting for our independence.
Well, I'm very proud of you.
We are also pilots like you.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Like you. Even.
What the fuck was that? What was that? That was so random, man. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
Hello, Mr. President. Independence.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Like you. Even.
What the hell?
Where is the truth? Where is the power?
Yeah.
In the money?
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
So the brother is saying that it's not in the money. Я считаю, что сила в правде. У кого правда, тот и сильнее. Вот ты обманул кого-то, денег нажил. И что,
Are
ты
you
стал
trying to tell me?
сильнее?
Do you think I can understand you? Because I can't.
No. Just feel like with your heart. Feel the
Okay, I
force.
feel it. I feel the passion. I feel the
Потому что
passion.
правды за тобой нет.
But not only that, I see the passion on TV every day. I see the passion.
Just feel what we are trying to express.
No, I can feel it, but more importantly, I see it when you resist Russia.
Yeah,
and when you
of course.
fight the Russians. And here's my suggestion. Keep fighting.
We will fight. We will fight. Anyway,
Don't let up. Well, the truth's with you.
truth with us.
Yes, it is you and Zelensky. I told
Thank you.
Zelensky he's like Winston Churchill. And
Yeah, he is our president.
yeah, he's great.
And he's like Monica Lewinsky also.
What the hell?
All
We
right,
love
boys.
you.
Great talking to you. God bless
Okay,
you.
we will put you on President Zelensky again, okay?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
for
good
this
talking to you
Thank
guys.
you. Slava России.
Oh my god, man. I was not expecting that. What the hell? Oh goodness. Like Monica Lewinsky. And he laughs at it too. Wow. Bush really was a pilot. And the most ridiculous thing is that 2 months, I went back, I looked at the date, and I was stunned. But I remember it. So 2 months after the invasion of Iraq, George Bush flies he lands a jet on an aircraft carrier, and there's this big sign behind him that says "Mission Accomplished." I mean, what do I even say, man? Here's the image of him coming down on the he's landing here, and then here's the photo with "Mission Accomplished" behind him. This is 2 months, man. It's 2 months after the invasion, and obviously, as you guys know, the fighting in Iraq continued for years, right? Like they had multiple battles in Fallujah, Basra, Mosul. It was for years and years. You had the insurgency, right, as they called it. Again, insurgency. It's resistance, man. Even if you don't like the guys, but they also. Let me explain this, man. It really basically really like stripped down. You had the U.S. invasion, which led to Al Qaeda and basically years of bombings and car bombings and mosque bombings, and then after that you had ISIS. So the Iraqis suffered through 3 phases of terror, and it's all because of the invasion. You would have never had Al Qaeda in Iraq. You would have never had ISIS in Iraq with Saddam Hussein in power, and that does not mean that Saddam Hussein is nice, or this doesn't mean there's anything redeeming about him. But my point is that Saddam Hussein opposed people like Al Qaeda and ISIS, which makes it all the more ridiculous when the Americans are lying and saying that he's working with them. That makes literally no sense. It's complete bollocks. So my point is that this torture, the 1 million people killed and millions more refugees. God knows how many of them have mental scars. I mean, you saw that poor man that we just the video that I just played for you. His name is Ali Al-Qaisi. How many more like him have these mental scars? Many people, and I think it's really ridiculous that he comes here 2 months after the invasion and says mission accomplished. What did you accomplish? What did you accomplish? Tell me, I'd love to know. Accomplished nothing. And remember, George Bush, his vice president was Dick Cheney. And Dick Cheney, the day before he takes the job, where is he working? He's the CEO of Halliburton. Halliburton got tons of money, profited immensely from the war on terror, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the oil contracts, everything imaginable. They made so much money. Ridiculous. And that's what it is, man. George Bush created this war on terror with the AOMF of 2001. Every president since has kept it. Trump, Obama, Biden. You know why? Because they want it. They want to keep using it to just bomb whoever they like. Of course, in violation of international law, and it makes them so much money, right? The arms dealers, they found a perfect way to just generate revenue. Right? Oh, we're fighting these terrorists. Quick, we got to send 700 soldiers to Somalia. Oh, look, there's ISIS in Syria. We have to send to protect the oil. Protect the oil? It's not your oil. Can Syria send troops to protect your oil in Texas? I mean, this is how ridiculous they sound. But again, the propaganda, right in front of you, mission accomplished. You have no idea. Like back then, again, I'm just old enough to remember. A lot of people hated Bush, like really hated Bush, and rightfully so. But you still had people who liked him, and he won a second term. I couldn't believe my eyes, really. But I was always interested in this stuff. I remember watching the presidential debate between John Kerry and George Bush, and even the Russiagate stuff. Like I was watching Mueller give his report to Congress, right? So no, what was it? Was it? Hold on. I've been talking for 5 hours. You got to forgive me. Give me a second. He brought his report with him, right? And he couldn't even find anything. you know, they were asking him questions and he doesn't even know what they're talking about. It was really, really ugly. But my point is that thing lasted 7 hours, and I watched it anyway because I don't know, I'm just interested in this crap. And that's it, man. You know, in any case, George Bush is really a horrible person. Even though he made us laugh a little bit here, you know, he should have stayed out of politics and just become a comedian or something instead of killing, you know, 1 million Iraqis.